I'm not coming home for 30 days, and my younger self always wondered what to pack for these types of trips. Well, younger self, I got you. For the next 30 days, without including layovers, I am visiting 7 states, 2 countries. I am catching about 8 flights, 2 trains, and about 3 days of full driving. New York City, Tennessee, Oregon, California, São Paulo, Connecticut, and then Texas. During those days, I'll be working, filming, helping my family move, vacationing, and of course, working out. So I've been consistently traveling for almost a decade now, and there are very few things in this world that I can say I truly have experience with and I understand. And traveling solo is one of them. And I decided to make you a list of the things that I pack. I gotta chase these chickens. The things that I pack, along with some tips that I wish I knew 10 years ago that would have made my life a lot simpler. Chickens. I just landed on my first destination, and I wanted to tell you what I pack as a minimalist, a filmmaker, and fitness enthusiast. I'm gonna make this video in 3 different sections: gear, clothes, and must-haves. And if you hang out until the end, I'm gonna give you 5 tips and tricks that you can steal for your next trip. Here's the gear I use and pack for a 30-day multi-city and country trip as a minimalist filmmaker. Let's start with the bag section. I'm using 2 bags, or backpacks, or you're gonna be able to define it, but it's a sling bag and then a duffel that turns into a backpack, and they're both by the brand called Wondered. Here's the backpack, and I'm gonna kind of show you around, but basically the way I'm operating, within this ecosystem is that basically my clothes are on this side, my camera gear is on this side, underwear, because I always feel like I'm gonna shit my pants 7 times a day, so I have a lot of extras. Strap it up. You're gonna strap it up, and then this becomes a little backpack. And the reason I'm bringing this little section up is because when I'm traveling, I want to be able to move around quickly, but more importantly, I don't want to have to check anything. So the Wonder Duffel is useful because I can just strap it as a backpack, and no one ever gives me a hard time as I'm checking into my flight. They want to check my bag or something. All right, so now let's talk about camera stuff. What I'm recording this with is the FX30 on a Sigma 18 to 50 millimeter 2.4 with a mist filter. Obviously, I'm recording this so you can see the setup and obviously the tripod. I'm also bringing my rig, which is kind of sweet, so I can mount it up and do all that jazz, because when you're shooting with clients, which is something I'm going to be doing, and you have this whole setup, it makes neat and it's pretty subtle, but they're like, oh man, this is you have a lot of material with you, a lot of equipment with you, and assuming you're doing a good job, this is an extra added value that they can use. You're seeing the DJI Pocket Osmo 3, and I'm also bringing the DJI mic system. This is the other side. It has been pretty good. I'm actually surprised with it. Okay, number 3 is lighting, and again, I'm going to use the Pocket 3 to show this. So this light over here, it's to the side, that's an Amaran 60DS on a Manfrotto light stand, like a very light stand that I can quickly put on my backpack. Because again, it's on the duffel bag. I just put it on the duffel bag. It's pretty simple, pretty easy to set up, and when you're on the go, it kind of works. That's all you need. If the content is valuable, which I hope you're finding this valuable, but it's easy setup, works, makes sense, it's pretty nice. I also have a suction mount that you get to put on cars. I'm actually gonna pull that out. Boom. In case helps. Suction mount. It's awesome. I get to put this on cars, windows, and all that jazz, and this is part of the rig. Now, the last thing that I have there, obviously, computer. I do have my Kindle. I do have my iPad with me because every once in a while it's just easier to put the iPad. Pretty simple. And again, you're listening to this and you're like, okay, this guy's a minimalist and he's packing this much stuff. So far, everything that I told you has a purpose, and that's kind of what people get wrong most of the times. It's not just about having few items, it's about having items that have a purpose and things that you're using. Okay, let's talk about clothes. And this is what I pack as a minimalist for a 30-day trip, which I'm not gonna go on. So I picked this room because it kind of represents my philosophy in terms of clothing and how my backpack looks. I don't have a lot of clothes. I don't own a lot of clothes, and I would say that realistically, I pack for about 10 days, right? If I have enough clothes for about 10 days, I am good to go for whatever trip I got. Obviously, if I'm doing a 10-day trip, I'll pack for 3 or 4. Here's what I actually pack. So there's 4 shirts total. They all kind of look like this. In this video you saw a green one, so that's another. I have a white version and a blue version of that, so those are the 4. Pants, I got 2. In terms of t-shirts, I have 4 t-shirts that are non-gym t-shirts, and then I have 2 shorts that kind of go with mostly anything and everything in my outfits. Same idea. And then finally, gym stuff. I have 2 shorts and 4 t-shirts because I am planning on working out 4 days, at least 4 days per week. In terms of shoes, I have a barefoot one. I have white shoes that you saw, I think, on one of the B-rolls. And then I have Havaianas, which are like Brazilian flip-flops. And then you might be already thinking, it's like, please, this might already be, too much. I kind of wanted to have nice clothes because what if I go on a date? Like, what if I have a nice date or a place that I need to go that I just kind of need to look nice? Maybe I have a date. The other 2 things is that I have 2 light jackets and I'm actually bringing 2 watches. Totally not minimalistic of me. Crucify me, I get it. That's fine. Do your thing. Call me out. I guess I'm really digging deep here. Here's what I pack. It's a minimalist going on a 30-day trip, hygiene edition. So let's start with the basics, which is really simple, toothbrush, toothpaste, and floss. So you need to floss, bro. In terms of face and hair stuff, TikTok made me buy these 2 guys. I feel like this is like a moisturizer situation, and then this is sunscreen. They both work. They're both nice. In terms of smell, dude, you need to smell good. I say dude, and I'm talking to everybody, okay? This is my deodorant. Works for me. I did go route the path of like those theoretically natural deodorants and all. And I'm not gonna show my cologne because I have this I have this thing that happened to me when I was on a date. And this girl, like we're talking to this girl, she's super nice, she's super sweet. And she leans over, I can smell her perfume, and it's my ex's perfume. I was like, over from that moment on, I made a pact with myself. I would always try to smell just like myself, meaning the cologne that I wear, I have not met anybody that wear the cologne. It's not super common. So that way, when people smell me, they associate that smell with me. Chances are that they won't have another person that they can associate that smell with. So it's kind of, yeah, I'm weird like that, I know. So tell me about it. In terms of hair stuff, I went down of going the modern memo route, which is basically a no poo situation. My cousin got me into it, and so it looks like this. And little tip, if you have containers like this, if you have any reason to think that they might pop off and they might just, get over your bag and stuff, just put them in a little plastic like this. Happened to me once, and then I was like, okay, let me do something else. Then this is leave-in conditioner, and then I have a hair putty, so my hair kind of stays to some extent back like this. Nail clippers, razor, and then finally, I also have an electric razor. I just didn't bring it downstairs, but I'm bringing those so it's easy to take care of. And then, finally, I can put everything over here, except for the electric razor, and it's pretty simple. It's pretty easy. And then, carry that around. So, Luis from the past, there you go. Finally, the list you have been waiting for. I have probably flown over 100 times, and these are the 5 tips that you can steal to use on your next flight that have made my life a lot better and simpler, and it's probably gonna make your life a lot better and, your trips a lot more smoother. And number 4 was my most recent discovery, and it has been pretty, it's been a good way to prep. So when I travel, there are 3 things I aim to accomplish. The first one is agility. I want to be able to be agile and move to places quickly and faster than the people around me. So, if I need to go from terminal A to B, or if there's a connection that I might miss, like I want to be able to be on the go and on the flight fast. That way I save myself the stress of possibly having delays or any version of that. The second thing that I always focus on is saving time, and you're gonna understand that in a second. And the third one is making the whole experience a lot smoother and nicer to deal with. Okay, so here's the first tip. If you can, do not check bags. That is going to save you so much time, both from the moment that you get to the airport and you got to go through those lines to check in your bags, and also when you're waiting for baggage claim, or when you have to pick up your baggage from, one connection to the other. And so there's so many things that can go wrong. So every time that you can, bring a backpack, carry on, just try not to put anything in the check bag department. The second tip is this little guy right here. Not this brand specifically, anything like that. At airports, at airplanes, when you can connect an audio jack to be able to, headphones and stuff. So the idea is that you connect this to the little screen on the plane, and now you can use your AirPods. This is a Bluetooth connector. It changes, you know, audio jack to Bluetooth. This guy has been so good because I can use noise canceling. My AirPods are small. So nice. It's so nice. I don't have to worry about music. It's so nice. Third one is credit card miles. And this is not financial advice in any way, shape, or form, okay? But what I can tell you is that almost all of the flights that I'm taking for the next 30 days were booked with miles. And a huge part of them were booked using sign-up miles. So when you sign up for a card, you find promotions here or there, 80,000 miles, 100,000 miles, 120,000 miles. If you can start playing around with, like, you know, transfer from one port into the other at like 1.5 the rate, 1.2 the rate. So at that point, you might be getting more miles per credit card mile. So, you know, it's a fun game. It's interesting. Only use this if you already know how to use credit cards, if you know how to use them properly. You're not gonna get into debt, but you know, it's a pretty useful tool if you know how to use credit cards properly. Number 4, this is the one that I have learned recently, or kind of always knew, but now I'm able to identify the pattern, and I think that this is pretty safe to say at this point. You know, when you're in the line to board into the plane, and at some point you have your backpacks with you, and then someone in the announcer goes, hey, you know, we're running out of space in the cabin. We might have to check your bag if you're coming later on, and so on. It's so frustrating to me because I'm always packing light so that I don't check bags. For the most part, I don't have any checked bags, so I just want to go, go, go. But what I have found that is pretty true is if you're in main cabin 1 and above, meaning before that, so priority, blah, 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 first class, comfort, whatever, up to main cabin 1, you're safe. Like, you're good to go. They're not really going to check your bags. If you're in cabin 2 or 3, and I think for other airlines would be something like groups or 3, 4, 5 or some version of that, you're at a high risk. Keep that in mind, and if there's ever a chance for you to do like a slight upgrade to the main cabin, and that is usually what that's actually gonna get you. And that's when the backpack that I use in the duffel pays back very nicely, because they don't realize that when I have it strapped on, it doesn't look like it's decently large in the back. It doesn't look like a duffel bag. It just looks like a backpack. So absolute worst case scenario, I can just like, hey, this is a carry-on. I can squeeze it. I can tighten it up. But most cases, they don't see, they don't realize. And number 5, also in the time management, you know, time saving zone, is getting TSA pre-check. Not tell you the amount of times that either I thought I could possibly miss my flight, or, you know, just going through the line and being done with the security in like 10 minutes when I see the regular line being like an hour. The stress I save myself every time is ridiculous. And this goes back to the credit cards too. Most credit cards that have the mileage situation might also have some sign-up bonus or bonuses to pay, like TSA pre-check, global entry, and all that jazz. So look at that and see if it makes sense. It saves time in the sense that you can get to the airport later. Sometimes you can sleep a little bit more. If it's an early flight, you're at a dinner and then you gotta catch a flight, you can stay a little bit. Like, you just don't freak out as much to go into the airport and having to do all these things. That's the idea. It's pretty useful. It's pretty nice. So these are the 5 tips of things that I learned throughout the way that have saved me time, have saved me stress, and have just generally made the trips a lot more smooth on my end. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. I know that Luis from a few years ago would have certainly appreciated some of these tips, and it would have saved me so much stress. If you like to travel, if you like minimalism, or if you like time management, or if you like learning, or like, you know, not wasting time learning, I'm your guy. Stay around. I have a video production company, and I actually fly to my clients, which is why I get to talk about this stuff too, which is pretty neat. So, you know, thank you for hanging around. I hope you have a fantastic freaking day, and you press some buttons here so I show up in your feed again and to other people that might benefit from it. Take care.